So, but I have been reliably informed by Vivek Ramaswamy that all it would take is for a President Ramaswamy to give about a quarter to a third of Ukraine to the Russians on the promise that Russia no longer be buddies with China. Why isn't Vivek right about all of that?
Well, I think one of your colleagues at AEI described this as criminally stupid. I would also describe it as hopelessly naive. This is like the stuff, these are the proposals that, when you're in the model UN in high school and your girlfriend's on another delegation and you're trying to impress her, these are like the crazy ideas that one might come up with. This is amateur hour, to be completely honest with you. It does not take into consideration any of the second and third order effects of what this policy might mean for Europe and transatlantic security and our relations with Europe. As I mentioned, this is a huge area of economic activity, and it's important to not only to the U.S. as a nation, but to the American worker. It doesn't factor any of that into the thinking. But most importantly, Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Crimea, Kherson, they're not ours to give. The idea that we could just hand them over and then all of a sudden Russia's going to align with us to counter China is just so naive. It doesn't make any geopolitical sense at all. It might sound nice, but when it meets reality, it's not going to deliver the results that he might hope for.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a little. I mean, I like the Model UN thing. I don't know if you ever watch it, but Parks and Rec, the sitcom, they had a great episode where they ran up Model UN, and Chris Pratt, the Andy Dwyer character, I think he's the representative for Finland, and he agrees to trade his entire navy, I think, for all the lions in Africa. As if this is a thing that countries do. Right?
We're pretty much at that level right now with this line of thinking.
Well, it's sort of like, Vivek has tripled down on this claim that if he had been the vice president on January 6th, what he would have done is call for a moment of national unity to agree on same-day voting and other reforms to elections before he approved of the thing. And you actually have to take a second to think through what that actually means. What he's saying is so the Democrats just won an election. It's January 6th. The president's saying all this stuff. There are rioters outside, and Vivek is going to go and propose on the Senate floor this idea that we're going to stop procedures here and draft some legislation about same-day voting, which is not constitutional because of the states. I mean, it's like you go through layers and layers and layers of it until you realize that he's making a fool of you by taking him seriously at all. Right? That's the whole trick with Vivek is it sounds smart enough that it takes such mental energy to realize how stupid some of his positions are that you give him the benefit of the doubt out of laziness. Right? I mean, it's like, his thing about we're going to abandon Taiwan after we get chip independence, which he's now changed his position on. It's very much the Model UN thinking. It's like we can say the quiet part out loud and just say to all our allies, once you're no longer useful to us, we will betray you and sell you off to the highest bidder. And for a guy who constantly talks about national unity and leadership and all this kind of stuff, I'm embarrassed for him to a certain extent, except for the fact that it's working for him. Anyway, we don't need to dwell on him.
He's just unserious. He's unserious about these matters. I think that's the best way to describe it.